Hello everybody, and welcome to today's OpenNTF webinar, The Power of XPages Extensibility. My name is Niklas Seidloff, I work for IBM, and I'm the chair of OpenNTF's technical committee. Since Domino 851, XPages has provided an extensibility API. Developers can build plugins as OSGI bundles that are typically implemented via Eclipse IDEs. In difference to custom controls that reside in nodes databases, these plugins can be deployed on Domino globally so that they are available in all XPages applications. This makes reuse of common functionality in different applications much easier. IBM has used this mechanism, for example, to implement the famous XPages extension library. Additionally, there are other several extension libraries available on OpenNTF, for example, a Bootstrap framework and a logger for OpenLog. The OpenNTF project POI for XPages, or POI for XPages, is another great XPages library that wraps the open source Apache project into an extension library so that XPages developers can easily access Microsoft Office documents. The library has been implemented by developers from WebGate Consulting, and two of these developers will present today this library, Güdemann and Luder. Christian and Peter will present how they've built the library, why they've implemented it as library, and also why they have open sourced it. Christian, Peter, and the whole WebGate team have also contributed several other great projects to OpenNTF, and they sponsored one of our contests. Most importantly, as probably already everyone knows, since this month, Christian is the new chairman of OpenNTF. And now let me hand over to Christian and Peter. Christian, please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Niklas, and it's a great pleasure to have this first webinar about the power of the XPages extensibility. And we have a subtitle given this webinar, What Are You Waiting For? Because that was the question that we have asked ourselves after we have recognized what we became from IBM. So, the presenters, my name is Christian Güdemann. I'm since this month OpenNTF chairman, and I will act in today's webinar as the architect of this solution. And with me is Peter Luder, our leader of business service, WebGate Consulting, and he will act a little bit more like the account manager. Peter.
Hello everybody, can everybody hear me? Okay, I think so. Okay, let me introduce the story of POI for XPages, how it all began. Well, as the leader of business service, I'm daily confronted with questions to export to Excel or to import from Excel to export contracts to Word documents and so on. And you see, Word and Excel play a significant role in today's business world. You cannot get rid of it, but at least you would wish to get rid of the boring work around it. So what is especially annoying is that in our company, all these requests always pointed to the same developer because he knew all the tricks. Always we said, oh, it's your job, you know best how to handle that, do it please. And like this we filled his pipeline, and well, I complained about this during a coffee break with Christian. I said, well, always doing the same boring things, couldn't we have a tool that handles this, that makes this easier? And what did he say?
So I was looking out to the window and a little bit out of space and thinking about other things. I have a little bit dreamed, and I told him, hey, designing a plugin like an extension library with that immense impact, that would be cool, something really great, and the next challenge for me personally.
Well, yeah, what did you say? A plugin? I was not familiar with these things, so and plugin. I couldn't imagine how this could handle all the problems. But well, what did he say?
And back in reality, I said, oh, plugin can do all you can imagine. It's no problem with a plugin. We can make this available. Yeah, okay.
I said, well, that's a deal. End of month, is this realistic? Can you do that? And they went on to work.
So there I was sitting, and Peter goes back to our office and was very happy that he has given me a nice, interesting thing that I can solve, and has given me the stone, and I have did it. So it was time for another coffee break, because when you start something like building your own plugin, make first some visions, make some concepts, write down something, and be aware of your target audience. That's something that it's really important, because when you are programming a plugin, then you are programming for other developers, not in fact for the customer, or you are programming for developers that they reuse it. So ask yourself, what would you expect? How should complexity be break down? How should the developer use your plugin, your API that you will deliver? And what will you provide? Keep it simple in this point. Do not try to provide all things in the first release and make it huge and big. It will never end. So keep it simple and stupid. The adoption will be better. And what I also can say is a good example database is much more worth than a documentation. I know that my team will now say, oh, that's typical. He hates to write documentation. That's true. I'm not the right guy for documentation, but I'm loving to make a good example database. All I've learned about the extension library was not the great book that's out there. It was reading the example database and reading the source code. So it's good when I explain this a little bit deeper in a short demo about POI for XPages, how we have solved this, how we have break down the complexity. So I start with a short demo, and I hope that you now see my browser. On my browser, you see how you can typically create an Excel sheet like this one, like a business plan. It's an official sample from the Apache project. And when you go here, you see that's the way you have to program it. You have to make the sheets, you have to make rows, and so on. It's very easy to provide this API. You have a little bit to do, that all access controller rights are correctly set, but it's very easy to provide this. But believe me, the most of our developers will not love, because they want to have more something on a drag and drop or on a declaration style. And to be honest, XPages as the viewer part of our programming model is more a declarative approach. Yes, you do program some business logic or application or UI logic in there, but mostly you declare. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go to the example database. As I said, an example database is for me much more important than other things. So here I have a form to fill out. And I can now download this contract. And you see all things that I've entered is here on this Word document. And let's see what the programmer has to do that he has such a form presented, how easy that could be. Beware about your target audience. It must be something that you can wire, that you don't have to write all the Java code. So let's go in there and open the docx contract document. You see I have the typical stuff here, name fields, address fields. This name field, oh sorry about this, is via view scope data binding bonded to the view scope name variable. And here on my right hand, I have a new control, new UI control. It's the POI for XPage document element. And this document element handles all the declaration how my contract document will be generated. Take a look in there. First, I have to give them a download file path, how it should be named after that. And what I also have to assign is something we call it a template resource, and it's very important. You have to assign a docx, not a Word document template. It's a little bit confusing by the name, but it should be a docx. And you can use a resource template, or you can also use attachment template. That means that you have to point on a view on a document and so on. This document here is a resource. It's in the database directly under the file resources. This is my raw model. In there, I have made some bookmarks, not real bookmarks, because bookmarks are changing, or the model of bookmarks are changing. It's only made by brackets. When you download the example database, you can also analyze this. It's very easy and handy to make it. And here you have the bookmarks. Bookmarks are values that will be replaced. So the value name will be replaced with a value called viewScope.name, and here this value is evaluated on runtime. So here the viewScope binding came to it. And as you see, there is no Java code. It's very easy and very handy for developers to consume this, because the only thing they have to do is to drag this control in there to define their output. If it's Word, or they have other things they can put in, they can put in the workbook, or they can make a simple view export or a CSV export. It's very handy and very easy. So the complexity to build this Word document is in the plugin, and it's taken away from the developer. And another thing they have to do is they have to make a button, this download button here, and on click they have a simple action. They have to generate the document, and they have to say which is the ID of the control that we should take for this generation of the document, and the document will be generated and will be available for download. That is what I mean with be aware of your target. So this is for any developer that has the typical XPage skills. Very easy and very handy to use, and they do not have to care about the generation of the backend stuff. So let's go back to our presentation. So hope this demo has a little bit shown what I mean about this.
Oh, I think this looks great. And
so
of course
Peter, I have a plugin for you.
Oh, sorry.
What do we do with this plugin? Should we sell it to all the developers out there, or should we open source it? I think what do you think? Should we open source it or should we sell it? You're the account manager.
Well, we discussed that, of course. This was an important question because somehow I think it's a great tool, and always if you do great things, you would like to sell it because you want to make profit out of what you achieved. But well, you have to make some considerations about it. I think you cannot sell it at a price that really covers the costs, because this would be too much for something as easy or as common as an export to Excel. And if you make a product out of it, you have either to sell a lot to cover the costs, or you have to blow it up with features that maybe nobody wants to pay for it. So in this situation, I think it's a good practice to open source it, because you profit somehow indirectly of it, because you will make money not with the tool itself, but what services you can do in a project using this tool. This is an indirect way to make money. We'll talk about that later on a bit. And it's also somehow an altruistic approach, because with this we empower other developers in our company, but also developers in other companies. And like this, we make the XPages Xwork server a stronger platform. We add to the community, and we do something good for everybody, and that is also a good feeling, I think.
So definitely, and we choose the option to make it open source at the very beginning of the project, because it was important for us that we can share it and that we can make this indirect profit. Otherwise, we have only to target developers at customer side with license fees for something most developers expect that Big Blue IBM should deliver. So the decision was in this point very, very easy, because the math was too low. We do not all our stuff open source. There are several things that we believe in that we can make money because they are services. But here something others I have to say. On OpenNTF, there are so many good projects. And there is something I'm really missing in the OpenNTF community, or in the community at all. I'm missing the reselling or the rebundling aspect. We have all this great code base, we have all this great stuff. We have now Bootstrap for XPages from Philippe Briand. We have other things coming in, and what are we doing with that? One of the discussion I've heard about the extension library was that customers are waiting for an IBM port of them, and now we have the extension library in the product. It's great, it's cool, but nobody on customer side has even called me about Apache Maven, that they have some support from somewhere. They use Apache Maven, they use other Apache projects. So my hope and my wish is that we have such strong projects on OpenNTF, like Poi for XPages, like Bootstrap for XPages, like the Domino API from OpenNTF, that customers are willing to use as they other open source software also use, and that we can make money with them. So, but later on to this. Now something, let's talk about the building process. First, don't reinvent the wheel. Google is definitely your best friend when you have a problem to solve. So we saw in our first solutions that Apache Poi would be the project that we want to use, because it's very known in the community. It has some disadvantages. It has so many good stuff in there, and it's an Apache project. And everywhere you can find on Google problems that are mostly solved, or you find an idea how to solve it. And you have seen the abstraction layer that we have built in there. That's our contribution to the full stuff. Then the second you should think is license, and again license. I would recommend that you find projects that are licensed under the Apache license. The reason is very, very simple. Apache license allows you to make money. Others do that also, but it allows also others to make money with it. And when others can make money with it, they will easier contribute to your project and deliver back code. And allows also that your piece of work, and most developers are self, or maybe it's only me, but that mostly I do a masterpiece till another guy looks in there me all the weakness that I've done. But to be proud of a product, it's very cool when it's used anywhere. And then when you start to program your real world problem as your first test case, take it and play with it and say, okay, can I solve my first test case? Can I now export this view to Excel? Can I build the contract to my solution? And play it on paper. I'm normally for a paperless office, but play this stuff on paper or on a whiteboard and try to make it happen. And if it works, begin to code. So let's go a little bit to the code. I hope I will not shock you or annoy you. I want to show you how we have implemented the Poi part of Apache and where is our code in there. What have we done? Because the Poi project from Apache does a lot, but it does not all that's necessary for the XPages stuff. So first, we go back here to our Domino designer. What you have need is a representation of Word, or we call it Poi document or Poi workbook. We need a representation of them that developers easily can use it. That are typically UI components. And these UI components have to be designed, and they acting a little bit like business object. So when we go into this UI component, we see on the property side here, we see that we have some special thing, this bookmark and this template source, but other things like PDF output or path info or download file name should be all properties. So let's find the corresponding element on our plugin project. And when you download the source code, and I want to encourage you to do this because I learned a lot from reading source code, you will find these objects in the Poi component containers. I've called it containers because they contain all the declaration. So, and it's called UI workbook. And as you see here, I have, you will find also this path info, download file path, template source, the post generation process, and the use streaming model. So,
Christian, may I interrupt you? I don't see anything.
You don't see anything?
Demo. I don't know how the others.
Oh. Sorry. Hope that's better.
No, it's great. Okay. This
Okay.
looks like
it should, huh?
Yeah.
So you see this UI document class here in the Domino X POI component container. Here you see the bookmarks. You see something like document tables. You see the property path info, download file name, template source, and PDF output. And all this stuff is defined in a XML file in this XSP config here to bind it directly with the designer representation. So you see here we have this UI document, we have this declaration, we have here a list of bookmarks. So the document bookmark is another object type, we call it complex type, and you have to build here this data model. You have to do some stuff that this data model can be used in the whole JSF lifecycle. I will not go in details about this, but there is one special function here. It's the process HX request, because the process HX request do something special on this line here. Here on the document processor get instance generate file. Here is the full magic behind this generation of the Word document. The document processor is encapsulated and separated out here in the kernel. This document processor, a singleton object, handles all my generation of the file. Here is the full complexity of building the document. And here in this part, we are doing all the calls to the POI library. Not in the UI representation, not in the data model. Here we are doing it. And that's a cool thing, because we can provide the full functionality of this document processor to the backend developers. To developers, they want to use generation of Word documents, maybe with dots, Domino OSGI task servlet, or maybe you want to generate a document when you open a page asynchronously, so you will see that we will provide a framework that can do this also. So this separation is very important, that you have this separate out. And when you go to the package structure of the Domino POI project here, you see this Domino X POI library. And that's the container for all the mandatory libraries we need, that we can generate all this fancy stuff with documents and workbooks. And this is isolated. It's isolated that it doesn't affect the virtual machine. It's isolated in the plugin, and we do propagate some of them out to the full Domino XPages stack, that you can also use POI objects. So I want to show you something more. A thing that was introduced during my visit of the last IBM Connect. Here, a simple thing called PDF output. If this is true, your Word document will be rendered to PDF. For the front-end developer, something very small but very important, that he can say, okay, I need this as a PDF. And on the back-end side, see this, we have first introduced this POI PDF part, which delivers only a PDF service, but that makes it highly extendable. And then we have bundled the Apache FOP project in there. And we had a lot to do with changing class loader and so on, that it all works like a charm. But all this complexity is now hidden from the developer. It's separated out. We have solved the problem for them. So under the hood, you see there is a lot of contribution of code to make it as easy as possible to use it. And when you start, when you think, okay, I want to do my own project, your entry point should be something like this UI document or UI CSV. Take a look at this and take a look how this is interacting. Or the UI simple view export, also as a simple control. So let's go back to the presentation. I hope that has get you an impression what of work is already be done and how we have integrated the work that has been done on the Apache community. So, and now it's time to talk about how you can make, or how we do make, money with this stuff. Maybe Peter, you can also a little bit share about experience we have from the customer side. So, but first, how did we make the money, Peter?
Okay, as I already told, we did not make the money in selling the tool itself, but in making it open source and using it as something like a building block in our customer projects. And of course, we could lower the production costs because now not only our specialists can do these Excel and Word tricks, but everybody in our team is familiar with POI for XPages. This is something that is in our suitcase that we use when we go to the customer, and we can offer to the customer far more services in extracting data and giving it to his favorite platforms like Excel or Word. This is simple enough, and I think we could relieve some the developers of this boring and nasty work to deal with columns or with styles of Word and with bookmarks, and we could give them an instrument which gives them sovereignty to offer to clients what they're looking for. And for us, this was really a breakthrough, and it is also a very good thing that you know that wherever export to Microsoft Excel or Word is asked for, you have no problem with it. You can just be very open and you can do good services to your clients, and you can make money with the whole project and not with this with solving simple problems like export to Word or Excel. So we are very, very comfortable with it, and it really eases our work.
And think about this when you are in a chat with a customer. You present your work, and they have an overview of maybe all the products. When we are talking about a database that has product sheets in there, and they have an overview of all the products, and they are saying, "Oh, that would be nice to export this to Excel." Before we had POI for XPages, it was the way that we have said, "Oh, we have to go back to the developers that we can calculate how many times that will consume and so on." Now we can sell the value that it has to the customer. We know how long it will take to introduce this and to program this, but we can sell the value. And the customer is asking, we can feel what value does this have to the customer, and can deliver this value. And customers will always pay for value, for added value. And when they are not facing with efforts, when they are facing with value, they are more grateful when you solve it. And other, as Peter said, our production costs are definitely lower, and it is definitely better that more people can act with this. So maybe you'll think now, okay, that's a cool thing, this POI for XPage. How can I get involved? First, give POI for XPages a try. If you are facing with any Excel or Word export or import is a little bit harder to do. You need someone who can play with the Java part of it, but give POI for XPage a try. And installing extension libraries on a Domino server is something that is more commodity than other stuff. And since the extension library, most of the customers know that installing such an extension is something good. And they know that when you are programming on the OSGI level, when they know this term, that you are in something like a secure way. Then, second, what you can do is bring your feedback direct to the community. We need feedback. We need to know how POI for XPages is used in your case and all around the world. We are getting feedbacks from every time zone of this world, and that's very cool. That makes us really proud. Okay, it doesn't pay our bills, but it makes us really proud that others can use our project, and we will make the thing better. So, and then what also would be good is talk about the success you have. It's for a customer or for others, it's much easier to choose the winner's side than to choose the nowhere's land. That's the typical way how the last century every product was sold. When you are on the winner side and everybody has this product, you can nothing make wrong. When you have success with POI for XPage, let others know that it was cool. Hey, it's under Apache license. It's designed that you have success. So, and then last thing you can do is ask for features. So the simple view export was a feature that I was sometimes asked from our own developers and also asked from customers. Why can I not export a view? I have designed a clever view. I want to have this view as an Excel. So in the last release, we have implemented this feature, and that's very cool to do. And maybe you have a dream or a wish of something else that the XPages platform should do or can do. And maybe you're not experienced enough, or you want to have some coaching how to do this. Then come to us. Wait till I'm still looking out to the window and I'm out of space and thinking about something cool like my son's birthday or so. And then ask me, and maybe you have end of the month or first prototype you can look in there. And last, stay tuned for the next big thing that is coming on OpenNTF, that you also can contribute and participate on this and use software that are coming from OpenNTF and talk about it, because a living ecosystem where every developer knows that his work has something worth for others and make the day for others, is an ecosystem that's vibrant and brings other brilliant solutions. So that's my last point, and that's more the point that I have to say, and I want to say as the new chairman of OpenNTF. So, time for questions and answers. I hope you have some.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot, Christian, and thanks a lot, Peter. I think this was an awesome presentation. I like the technical details on how to build the extension libraries, but I also really liked what you said about OpenNTF and open source and why you have contributed all these projects. So again, thanks a lot. And as Christian said, everyone can ask questions now. If you are in the e-meeting only, you can type your questions in the chat. If you have dialed into the conference call, you can unmute yourself using *6 and ask your questions directly. So there was one question, but I think it has already been answered by Chad Smith. Can you export to a PDF?
Yes, to be clear in this point, you can export any Word document to a PDF. Not the Excel stuff. I didn't find a brilliant thing about the Excel. But we are working on that, and there was also a request in the community to export full notes document, and I have already done this before. It's a time ago, and I didn't find my translation sheet for that. But when I have this, I will implement it. And if this is becoming urgent for you, write a mail, write a feature request, so we can make, or you can also fork the code and make it by yourself, but we can deliver this a little bit earlier. Does it answer your question, Chad?
Yeah, I think he's only using the audio cast. Yes, thank you, he said. Okay, any other questions? Howard has a question. Can you export to a PDF that has editable fields on the PDF?
Oh, good question. Didn't even try. So that was never a scenario, actually. So I have to take a look at this, how to define fields that should be editable. But good question. I take this back to team.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Again, either in the chat or on the phone directly. *6 to unmute yourself. Oliver Busser has a question. Are there plans to add OpenOffice doc formats?
Yes, there are dreams and visions about this, but I'm still looking for the right project under the right licensing model to do this, because I'm not a huge fan of installing some other parts of software to a server that you can make some transformation. And all the projects I've found actually want that you have installed OpenOffice or something else that you can work with this, and that's for me personally a no-go, because that affects the full server. So if you have anything under Apache license found, or if you have something under MIT license, please let me know. Or if you have something you do not know which license type it is, send me the link. I'm very interested in this, because I see that OpenOffice is growing and the need is coming more and more.
Okay. Next question from Don. Can this be used with Java agents?
Unfortunately not. When you want to use this with Java agents, you have all to put it in the JVM of Domino server. And for me personally, that's a no-go, because you are affecting the base VM for the whole system. So other components can maybe be affected. And when you have to use another logger framework as the Apache logging version 1. Sowieso, maybe you are affecting the logger framework that XPages is using and so on. No, Java agents not, but to make here an announcement, we are working on something that calls the XPages Toolkit. The XPages Toolkit has Java agent as a Java agent manager replacement in there. The beta 1 is already out. Beta 2 will come next week, and there you have a replacement for the agent manager where you can easily build agents that can use the full stack of your application and all the Java. I hope that will a little bit help you that you can use also time-based events.
Oh, that sounds promising. I didn't know about that. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another question from Kiran. Will the generated document be stored in a Domino database, or do you have to do it manually?
You have to do it manually. There are some convenience calls in the POI bean. We have a bean also in there. We try to make all good stuff also available as beans. So in this POI bean, you can generate your document, and then you have an input stream of the document or representation of the document and push it back. But if this is also a need that you can say, hey, and when you have generated this, please store it there and there, something like an output folder. Please write a feature request on GitHub or in the OpenNTF project. Then we can track this, and then we can internally discuss this, because I was also thinking about this, if this would be maybe cool. But to prioritize things, it's much easier to know that others think also this stuff should be cool and not me, myself, and I. So, other questions?
Okay, we don't have any other questions in the chat. Oh, there's one more. No, there was just a comment. Okay, so last chance. Any other questions? If not, I thank Christian and Peter again, and we will have another webinar at the beginning of November. We have not finalized the planning yet. Just check out our blog or check out webinars.openntf.org for details once we know them. Thanks a lot for attending this call, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.